Okay, so this is just a quick video to show you something I found with a client this week. Someone had come in for a bike fit, and one of the things we'd done was adjust their cleats and everything was good, and then he got some new cleats and put them on and started to have trouble again. And he had the standard Look Keo cleats, and he bought an off-brand because he could not find any in town, so he just ordered a pair cheap off the internet. And these are made by Wellgos. These are the Wellgos RC7As. They're obviously also gray, just like the Keos, but there's a few differences here. First of all, even though they're pretty much the same color gray, you'd think that they were the same cleat. But if we come back here and look, this little W channel here on each of them, that represents kind of how much float, or how much, yeah, exactly. It represents how much float the pedal has in it. So if we measure the distance here between at the apexes of this W channel, here we go, in there, we got 25 millimeters on the Look, which this is a gray, this is a six degree float cleat, but look, we're not even close on this Wellgo. It's 35 millimeters, so a full 10 millimeters wider. This is actually, the grays in Wellgo are actually the 9 degrees float. So that's kind of a buyer beware. Just make sure, even though it's the same color, it is not the same cleat. But there's some bigger differences. What the client did, is he just looked at the fasteners and just kind of looked and saw how much of a gap he had, say like up in here in this little gap and down here. And what he did is, when he went from the Keos to these, he just matched them up. Another way you can do that is you can outline the cleat and then before you put the new one on. Both of these methods would have failed going from one cleat to the other, and here's why. So these Look cleats, if we measure from the top of this, where the fastener goes here, this little recess where the hole is, to the top of the engagement. Now this is where it actually clips into the shoe, or into the pedal right here. So we're going to measure this distance on the Look from there to there, and we get about 7 millimeters. On this Wellgo, we only get 5, a little under 5 actually. So there's a 2 millimeter difference, which does not seem like a bunch, but there's a couple other little differences too. If we measure the entire length of the cleat, top to bottom here, we get about 64 millimeters with the Wellgo. With the Look, we get, oops, slipped, about 67. So again, still about a 2 millimeter difference. It doesn't seem like much, but that's actually going to change where the cleat is in either direction by enough that this client came back in and was not feeling right on the bike, and so we actually had to take some measurements to figure out what was going on to get the new cleats in the same position as the old ones were. So what did this mean? What did this mean for my client as far as what we had to do to get it correct? Well, what we ended up having to do is we ended up positioning his cleat much like this, where there were, you know, the cleat was sort of in the middle for the most part of its range with the fasteners. You can see there's a little bit of a gap at the top here, and with his Look Keo, and to put it in perspective, the difference between this, so this is one of the Wellgos, is what we switched to. With his Keos, we were actually like that. We were almost all the way back with the cleats. There was really little to no gap up at the top here on when they were the Looks. So when these were Looks, again, the Looks, they were all the way back like this. With the Wellgos, we had to actually scoot them forward just slightly to make up for the difference. So again, just a short one, seemingly not a big deal, but it really did magnify into a problem to the point where he felt unstable on the bike. So first off, again, just make sure that you get the right the right color for what you need, for the right amount of float to match what you've had in the past. And that might not always be the same color. And the other is to just know that if you do replace with a non-standard cleat, you may have to go through some extra measurements to make sure you get everything in exactly the right place. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.